Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We are now live. It is May 20th, 2025. My name is Ango. This is Billy. I just want to do a quick little mic check. Let's just make sure our audio is working. So hopefully it is. Billy, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I hear you. In chat, can you guys let us know if you hear us? I just want to make sure everything is sounding good. It would really be appreciated just because I am overthinking absolutely everything when it comes to live streaming. So,
Dude, it's getting out of hand.
yeah, I've definitely been trying to just figure it all out. And
Because
I
we're
just want
both
to make
sitting
sure.
here trying to figure it out.
Yeah, it's just a lot of stuff. And obviously, it is what it is. What can you do? So, if everybody could just confirm that the audio is good, I would greatly appreciate it. Today is a big show because we got a lot to talk about. There's just a lot to talk about. So,
For
chat
sure.
is saying we're good. Awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you guys. What up,
Yeah.
Billy? How are you, buddy?
What's up, Low Gang?
Low gang.
Yeah,
Where where the where the where the hell is that coming from?
shout out to the Low Gang. I seen it in the chat and it made me think of Logan, you know. I just feel like we're all
Oh,
the Low Gang, you know.
yeah, I see. I see. Okay. Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, low gang.
shout out to the Low Gang, man.
Nice, dude. Well, that's cool. We're live. We're multi-streaming today, so we're live across Twitter, YouTube, Twitch. BillyTKO is also simulcasting on his channel, so shout out to everybody watching. If you guys want to support the channel, there's a couple ways to do so. Obviously, the first thing you could do is like the stream, right? If you click like, it really helps. If you're on Twitter or Twitch, if you're liking and sharing and all that good stuff, that's really huge. And then of course subscribing on YouTube, right? Because I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. Um, and so obviously that would be awesome. And for those who want to take it a step further, the next thing that you can actually do would be to drop a super chat. Now, our super chat goal is active. And what's really cool about our super chats, we really do prioritize the community aspect to the live show. So
For
maybe if
sure.
you're somebody new watching here, you could get your comments, your hot takes, your questions, whatever it may be, automatically guaranteed to be read on the stream. Personally speaking, I think the super chats and the members and everybody who's in the chat, they typically make it a very fun experience because it just goes into sometimes, bro, we end up adding like an extra 30 minutes to the show just because of people dropping super chats, which is always really fun. And then, of course, it is guaranteed that your questions and comments get read.
Hmm.
So obviously, consider that, right?
For sure.
And then with that being said, too, not only is our super chat goal active, but there's something that I'm doing here, which is new. It's an announcement, and
Uh-oh.
yeah, it's official. You can now text with me. I ripped this idea straight from Billy, and I told him I was taking it. It was a great idea. But when you become a member, you can now text me, and it's no AI bullshit. It's none of that stuff. So, for all of our members, if you go to the post on the channel, the community post, you can actually see that the number's been posted. It's legitimately me. I have rules to it. So you will be prompted with an automatic text. If it's not safe for work content, if you're a dickhead, I mean, pretty much simple as
You gotta
that.
get out. You gotta
Yeah,
get out.
you're not getting a response and you're getting blocked from it. So, but I did want to announce that because it is a new perk that I am introducing for YouTube members. So of course, if you guys want to participate, super chats are great. Becoming memberships, those memberships are really huge. Obviously, you can also gift memberships, so that's a really big thing. So it's up to you guys, entirely up to you guys how you want to go about it. If you want to support the show, if not, up to you. It doesn't matter. Um, Billy actually got a super chat on his channel from Right Hand Cam, $5, and he says Raw was about a cool 8 out of 10. The pacing of the show was good, and the promos were all right. Um, Billy, I'm gonna let you take the
Yeah.
floor. It's
Yeah.
your super chat, buddy.
Yeah, I guess this is a great time to actually just bring up the discussion of Monday Night Raw. Obviously, guys, I did a watch along last night. I rated the show personally a 9 out of 10. I thought it was a really good show. But Cam and I actually were texting back and forth, so definitely utilize that membership perk because Cam and I had a really good discussion today. We talked about some of the things that he didn't like and some of the things that he did like. And just overall, my thought process, I can't be mad at people because I will say this. after I went back and I kind of analyzed the show a little more after the live stream, just kind of sat down with it for a second, you could kind of tell that there was a little bit of a slower pace. It felt like, the triple threat matches, they did everything that they were supposed to. But some of the stories maybe weren't hitting. And it's not saying that they weren't progressing, but maybe weren't hitting exactly how they were supposed to, if that makes any sense. So I understand where people come from with the 8 out of 10. Now, for me, I was and am still on the side of 9 out of 10. I thought the show personally did enough for me to get that rating, and I thought it did really well. Obviously, we've seen what happened with Zoey Starks, and that sucks. And, that can plummet a lot of people's rating on a show, right? Because seeing that happen is just, it's no good. But you obviously seen Rhea Ripley and Kairi Sane just on the fly go out and do what they did, and that was tremendous and outstanding. But yeah, no, I'm a fan of Raw, but I definitely see where you're coming from, Cam. The show was good, but yeah, like you said, some of the promos were all right. I see a lot of people maybe weren't the biggest fans of like Logan's promo and what he was out there saying, but I also have another side of the fence where people were like, "Oh, that was really good." Now Gunther, on the other hand, killed it to me. That's just my take there. But Cam, thank you so much for the $5 super chat, bro. I appreciate you so much. Like I said, guys, and like Ango said, definitely feel free to become a member of both of our channels because you guys do get exclusive access to just be able to kick it, talk to us whenever you want. It's really cool. Like Ango said, it's no AI bullshit. It's not a text animated thing. It's really cool. So you guys should definitely do that.
Yeah, I mean, the real question is, do you think Mercedes Monet is really texting when you spend $100 a month? No.
You know what I'm saying?
But Ango really do be responding. So make sure you guys take advantage of that. I just wanted to answer part of Cam's super chat too.
Yeah, please.
I'm just curious as to, because you said some things weren't hitting. I don't know if you want to be a little bit more specific.
Yeah. Okay.
I thought it was a great episode.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
you rated it a 10.
Yeah, I rated it a 10, baby. I didn't see anything wrong last night. Obviously, I can't count Zoey Stark getting injured as like
right.
a
Now,
issue.
here's where a lot of people had a problem, and I'll be honest, I had a problem with it. One of the big issues that I had and that I felt was the commercials. WWE is really, really, really starting to take advantage of those commercials, and they're starting to pull them from all different places. You know what I mean? They're just coming at spots that you wouldn't expect them to come. It's just really weird how they're utilizing the commercials now. Also, I understand that they have to do their branding. They have to, get their advertisements out. They got to do all of that. I understand. But I can also see from a viewer experience, if I'm just a fan watching on a regular everyday basis, maybe could be annoyed with something like that. Like that would irritate me, agitate me, if you will.
Yeah, so is that really an issue with the show? I don't know. To me personally, yeah, I think the commercials are
I think
crazy.
it hinders the pace of the show.
Sure, but if you're looking at booking and stuff, I think that's a whole
Booking
different
overall
arena.
for me, like I said, I rated it a 9 out of 10. I thought it was great. You know what I mean? But overall, I could see how that could hinder, number one, the pacing of the show, and also from a viewer experience.
Yeah, it's just a lot of commercials, and I think Netflix. I don't know if that's a WWE thing or a Netflix thing,
Yeah.
right? It kind of goes back to what we were saying about the Black Adam interrupting Collision yesterday. Like, it falls
Yeah.
on the TV partner,
Exactly.
and
It's not
obviously it's
necessarily a WWE thing,
yeah, it does get annoying though. I get that.
for
I
sure.
thought the show, from a booking standpoint, 10 out of 10. I don't see any flaws in the way they booked anything last night, which was good.
It's so hard to,
Um,
depict, and I'm sorry to cut you off again, but it's so hard to, say, because, okay, the crowd last night, I think we can all agree, hot. That crowd was on fire.
yeah, great crowd.
Through and through. It just I don't know. Maybe it's the time of year that it is. We talk about this all the time. You almost run into a little bit of fatigue. I think JD might actually tweet it out, talking about the 3-week build, to get to a show. Like, it's just the pacing just sometimes feels a little off. And that's just my thought process there.
I mean, all they're really building to right now, aside from Money in the Bank qualifying matches, is Saturday night's main event. Which I
Yeah.
think Saturday night's main event build has been very, very, very good stuff.
The build has been great, for sure. We can agree there. I fully agree with you. But again, I think it just goes down to I can understand where people come from with fatigue. I again just have to
Yeah.
preface, I thought the show was great.
Yeah, shout out to Cam for dropping the super chat on Billy's channel.
Thank you, Cam.
Um, a big thing is last night's Raw. The thing that I really did enjoy was the fact that yes, I understand the commercials and stuff, but the storytelling has become so fluid on Monday nights,
For sure.
where it's very clear when you're watching WWE Raw, like they just everything hits storyline wise. Um, Obviously, yesterday was a very interesting episode because of the for me, I felt like everything was hitting. The one thing that I felt kind of sucked, not
Mhm.
kind of. Let me be real here. I think it really sucked was the Zoey Stark injury. Because
For
I'm going to
sure.
assume two things. I'm going to assume that Kari Sane had to take the pinfall due to the
Mhm.
fact that Zoe got hurt.
Yeah.
Let's ignore all that bullshit. That
Mhm.
injury looks so nasty and devastating, bro. And her
So,
screaming in pain, and
dude,
everybody's like, I mean, you could kind of even see like the reaction from, from Rhea Ripley and Kari. Like, there is a level of concern there. Like, it just kind of felt like everything stopped for a second, and they had to figure out a way to like keep going because it's live television. And that was hard, man. That was like one of those things where Zoe Stark too is like starting to get a little bit more acclimated to the main roster on her
Mhm.
own. She's not part of some weird faction anymore. Like she's kind of doing her thing. I thought that was kind of a bummer. Like that was like, oh shit, I can't believe that just happened, especially
Yeah.
on live TV.
Yeah, man. I mean, so I didn't like I was doing the watch along, and I think maybe at the time I may have been uploading a TikTok on the computer, so my mind was just, maybe pushed to the side while they were doing the entrances. So it didn't necessarily click to me until I like popped in immediately, and I'm talking like immediate. Like I see her go down. That's how immediate it was that I was popping directly back into the match, right?
Yeah.
So it wasn't until I seen your TikTok, so if you guys aren't, go follow Ango. This guy really does keep things up to date because it was not until I seen his video where he slowed it down for me and I actually seen what happened. And I was like, oh my God, I heard the scream, right? And you
Yeah.
heard that scream and I knew she was in pain. I knew something was wrong. Um, but I wasn't able to necessarily pinpoint because, again, my mind, I was doing something, trying to come back to it, directly be there. And then you hear that scream, and I almost got goosebumps talking about it because of how loud it was.
Yeah.
Um, because again, at the end of the day, like these are truthfully like human beings, right? These are human beings. These are athletes that are going out there and putting their bodies on the line literally every time they go out into the ring. And when you see something like that, it immediately like it sends chills up my body. Because again, you just said it, Rhea Ripley's face, you see Kyrie Sane, you see how they look, and just knowing that again, I don't think things were supposed to go down that the way that they did, which ultimately sucks. But I mean, the biggest shout out to both Rhea and Kyrie, for just being true professionals out there. I said it last
Yeah.
night, and I'll say it again. I mean, true professionals
Yep.
on the fly, figuring this thing out. And they still went on and had a really, good match.
Yeah. It's hard though because it's like that just kind of sucked the air out of me a little bit. Like
It
I
did.
don't know, I don't know. Like even when I was watching it, like this is one of those things where had I been doing a watch along, right? Like I probably would have just been like,
Well,
ooh,
I
fuck.
had. It's so funny you say that because after it happened, obviously you see number one, the crowd movement, you see the wrestlers' movements that are still in the ring. So
Yeah,
you could feel doing a watch along, you could feel that something was off. So you, my chat, they even noticed it. They said something about me getting serious because right in that moment, it just clicked to me that Rhea and Kyrie are out there trying to figure this thing out. And I think it's because I had watched an interview with Bradley Martin and Dom Mysterio. I know this is going to be off the walls for a second, but in this interview, Dom Mysterio, he was talking about like, no, like we don't figure out things until the day of. We don't necessarily know what is going to happen until that very day, and then we just have to figure it out from there. And he prefaced, there was a week where AJ Styles was, stumbling over a couple of his words, and Dom just on live TV, like, "Hey, old man, get it out." You know what I mean?
yeah,
And it just made me think for a second, like man, like these are genuinely human beings that are just constantly doing things on the fly. And when you see things like that, and knowing that those two women were so professional, came back from it so well, and executed again such a great match. It's a wonderful thing to see. But again, the air was taken out. Um, the energy. I became very monotone, kind of how I'm speaking now during the live stream because of how serious I felt it was.
Yeah.
And again, I didn't even necessarily see exactly what happened. I knew her knee buckled. I
Yeah.
knew she had jumped off, did a springboard, and I knew all of that happened, but I didn't realize the severity until a couple minutes after.
And that's the crazy thing, right? Like I see it in real time and I'm like, oh shit, I think her knee just went through. Like
Yeah.
it just, and I can't remember his name, bro, and it's gonna kill me, but it happened in basketball, college basketball, like 10 years ago.
Ben McCormick.
Was it Ben
Ben
McCormick?
McLemore. Ben McLemore.
McLemore? I
Yes.
can't remember, bro.
Yes, he played for Louisville or Kansas City, one of the two. I can't remember.
Bro, I just remember seeing an injury, college basketball, very similar. I know some people are talking about Psycho Sid,
Yeah.
Sid Vicious. Like,
Yeah.
this is one of those injuries that just was nasty. And it's crazy because this match, it's like these women are so talented. So when that happens, it's just like, again, real life exists, right? And
Yeah,
at
for
some
sure.
point I was like, do they, like, I kind of thought, I was like, man, do they cancel the match? Like, do they throw up the X and just say that's it? No, they kept it going. To be honest with you, I know that's kind of become a debate. Sometimes when accidents happen in the ring, people think should be sometimes people think the match should just be called off, right? And I think
Right.
that's kind of where it becomes a difficult thing. Do you keep the match going or not?
Right.
So definitely a big issue there. But um, David Decker says Kevin Ware. I feel like that's right. Kevin Ware played for Louisville.
Was that it? I thought it was the Ben.
I don't even. Yes, it was Kevin Ware. I remember this, bro. This is the one I'm thinking of because I don't even want to watch it. I just literally Googled it just to confirm, and he's right.
Is it? Is it Kevin
Yeah,
Ware?
yeah, it's Kevin Ware. I was gonna say Ben McLemore didn't sound right, but you said it, and maybe he did. I don't know. I mean, it's not uncommon to see this. I mean, it does happen in sports, but yeah, dude, crazy,
Sure.
and it was wild, And the thing is, like, it just took away from a little bit, and then somehow they still put it through. But I felt uncomfortable even watching it more and more and more.
Yeah.
Some super chats. Let's take a look. We got one from one. What is this? One. Hold on, my dyslexia is kicking in. On one couch. A lot of O's and N's.
Yeah.
On one couch says he dropped a $5 super chat. Says any advice for somebody that wants to start their own wrestling talk show? Yes, I love when people ask this. I
Yes.
give people the same advice every time. So one, have fun doing it. Two, don't go crazy buying expensive stuff. You got to do this and love doing this. And it's not about audio quality is important, of course, but
For sure.
I think a lot of people get into this space and they're like, oh my God, I got to look like this and look like that. No, have fun with it, because if you're not having fun and you're just overly spending money on the equipment doesn't make you better.
Mhm.
I also say consistency is a big thing. I can't preach it enough to the choir. Like, you have to be consistent. I think if you're having fun, you will be consistent. If you're not having fun, you're not going to be consistent. And one of the big things I probably actually don't talk about, so this is like some fresh advice too, is, and I genuinely mean this, if you're going to start a wrestling talk show, genuinely be you. Because whether people like me or hate me, the good news is I'm not putting on a persona for the wrestling YouTube community. Like, there's no persona here. So I think there are a lot of people who get into the game where they think they need to have some sort of persona, some sort of gimmick. And, I see some people popping up, they start buying lucha masks and they're like, well, that's going to be my gimmick and stuff like that. I don't know. To me, I think the best content creators are the ones who are genuinely, authentically themselves. And if you start off and you're being yourself and you're consistent, I think you will have a good time doing it. There's a lot of people who've been doing this, and the thing is, like, everybody, I feel like there's value from everybody. If your thing is, well, let me go on Twitter and see what other people's takes are, and then let me just copy them. Like, people will see through it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to chime in on this one as somebody who is still continuously trying. I mean, we're all sitting here continuously trying to make this and grind it out, right? But yeah, I mean, number one, obviously, audio is everything. Making sure that your audio at the very least sounds good. Other than that, like Ango said, don't worry so much about equipment because it really isn't all that. And I've learned that the more and more and more that I've done this. And I was a person who was very big into that. But also, I mean, dude, it is so cliche, but being yourself, I come on here and I speak in a very mono way. And sometimes I think that maybe that hurts me, right? Maybe I overspeak sometimes, but I realize that that's just who I am and I'm okay with that. And some people will like it, some people hate it. It is what it is. So, truthfully, come out there, be yourself. Don't worry about what the next person's doing. Don't, because the moment you get sucked into that is the moment that you start to doubt yourself.
Yeah.
So don't worry about what other people are doing. Just continuously be you. And find friends in the space too, right? I think that's important. I think finding a good set of friends in the space, it really helped me. I've obviously been friends with Ango for a very long time, and then I've gotten to meet like our boy Omer over at Real Take Wrestling. He's a dog. And then Phil, obviously, who's just been such a good person, very kind to me. Find people that that are going to support you in everything that you do. And then obviously all the rest will come later.
Yeah. One thing I was gonna say too, because he brought up Omer, like me and Omer don't think a lot of the same things. Like we don't have the same
I do
interests. Like,
not think of like
yeah,
him at all.
yeah. Like we're definitely like we definitely disagree in the sense of like certain things in wrestling, but we're normal human beings and we like that's not an issue, right? So I think that's a thing too. Is like definitely like when Billy talks about being friends with people, just remember it's like wrestling. It's like
It's not that serious.
yeah, like it's gonna be fun to disagree with people and have arguments
Right.
sometimes, but just have that friendship.
Yeah, for sure,
Mm,
bro.
Yeah. Shout out to on one couch. Good luck,
Shout
dude.
out, man.
Good
Shout out.
luck.
Yes. Best of luck.
Billy got a $10 super chat on his channel. 10 USD, 8 out of 10. The commercials didn't bother me. The pacing was good. The promos were all right. The crowd was good. The stories were pushed. Where it left Zoe's injury. She needs to stop doing springboards. Dude, I can't sit here and be like, oh, stop doing this, stop doing that. Shit happens, accidents happen. You
Yeah.
know, it's wrestling. It's I talked about it even in my TikTok or whatever. Like accidents happen. People say wrestling is fake. This is where wrestling is very real. Shit's gonna happen. Your body, it's human nature. It just happens. It sucks.
Yeah, man. And Cam actually texted me that, and I, kind of felt the same way. It's hard to tell somebody to stop doing something because at the end of the day, they're just doing what they know, right? They're just out there going to perform. So, it's kind of hard to be like, oh, well, she shouldn't do that. I mean, accidents happen all the time. You know what I'm saying? And maybe they just over happen to somebody else.
Yeah.
It's how the world works. And um I could definitely see that, that probably, again, we talked about it just a little bit ago, excuse me. That Zoe Stark thing, it just sucked the life out of you for a minute. You know,
Yeah.
again, I said it. I wasn't necessarily fully indulged in the moment to know exactly what happened, but following, even the couple minutes after, obviously, I seen that her knee buckled, all of that. Following though, you felt like it sucks, right? You could feel Rhea Ripley and you could feel Kyrie Sane. You could feel their energy and everything that was going wrong. And you knew that something was off. And like, again, as human beings, we just have that natural feeling, right? You can sense somebody's energy just almost immediately. And that was one of those times where it just sucks because you knew that they were out there. They're hurting for their peer, they're hurting for their friend. The ref is out there, he's hurting. Michael Cole, Pat McAfee, they're hurting. Like you feel all that energy from those people. And
Yeah.
that is what it didn't ruin the show. It did not. Let's not say that ever. But what it did is it again just sucked that feeling out of you to make you think a little bit less of, man, what just happened? What is going on? And that becomes the number one thing. And you no longer care about the show. So
Yeah.
that's where I think it could have went wrong.
Yeah, I agree.
Cam, thank you
Uh
so much for your super chat, man.
yeah, exactly. Shout out to Cam. Definitely more to talk about. I think yesterday was a really big day for Logan Paul. You kind of mentioned it earlier on the stream that like there was people mixed reactions with this promo and stuff. I like the segment with him and Gunther. I like the idea of him also taking that super kick from Jay. which is another reason why Jay is just so incredibly over. This was great planning by WWE because they know that people are going to continue to cheer Jay when going up against Logan, right? And then obviously you get the stuff at the end of Raw. Let me ask you, Billy, because I have a very, very, very strong opinion on this that maybe the IWC and maybe the people who rock with me aren't going to like this, right?
Okay.
But the title of today's stream is Should Logan Paul be World Heavyweight Champion?
Okay.
Should he become World Heavyweight Champion? And it doesn't necessarily mean it has to happen at Saturday night's main event because
Right.
obviously we'll talk about Saturday night's main event probably Thursday, but I do want to have that conversation as to whether or not this guy should become a world heavyweight champion. And obviously, there's some stuff that's floating around with him possibly being a third member with Seth and Paul Heyman and Braun Breaker. I see you lifting up those sleeves. You're getting ready to talk about this. What's your thoughts on this, bro? Because I'm part of the low gang, bro. I can't hide it.
Yeah, I'm a low gang member myself. And Phil actually probably hates it more than anybody, if I'm being quite honest with you. Um, because I am very behind Logan. I don't know what it is about the guy, and maybe again, it's my thought of the evolution faction. We could say it's that, right? But regardless of the fact, I've been such a what's the word that I'm looking for? Advocate for everything that Logan Paul is doing. There's something about this guy that I just naturally want to get behind. I enjoy his work. I enjoy his presence when he's on Raw. I don't dislike him. I don't think it's corny. You ask if, could I see him as a world champion? Absolutely. Why not? He's doing great work. People will tell you this is the thing about like where we're at with WWE fans and stuff like that. It's like, oh, we'll respect Logan Paul and we think the work that he's doing is really good, and everybody will say it, right?
Yeah.
Everybody will say up and down, oh, Logan Paul is so good at what he's doing. But then the moment we get into a conversation about a championship, hold on, wait, that's too much because he's not actually a real wrestler. Well, what is he? Is he a really good wrestler or is he not? You guys need to let me know. That's the thing here, right? So I'm a very big advocate for this guy. This guy, I think he would fit very well in Seth Rollins' group. That was originally who I predicted in the first place, and I stand by that prediction. And I think people up and down are like, "Oh, it's going to be Sami Zayn. It's going to be Sami Zayn." I think that's totally separate. I think that heel turn is going to be on its own by itself.
Yeah, for sure, because that's how he's going to get the World Heavyweight
Right,
Championship.
exactly. That's how he's going to get the World Heavyweight Championship. I definitely 1000% think that Logan Paul is going to be that third member to Seth Rollins' group, if that's what they're going to be, because obviously we still don't know if there is going to be another member. Excuse me. If there's not going to be, if it's going to be an alliance, kind of what we talked about before. Nobody really knows what this actually looks like. I just know somewhere along the lines, Logan fits. I could see Logan Paul with Paul Heyman all day long.
Yeah, I mean, I think this guy is a great in-ring performer. I think he's a great WWE superstar. I think it's really funny how wrestling fans will typically be like, "Oh, he's not a real wrestler." It's like, bro, he's literally better than most of the people that
No, that's
are
a fact.
coming up. You know what I mean? Like, they're
Yeah.
like, I don't care what anybody says. He's good. He's got it. He understands it. This guy truly understands what it's like to be a WWE superstar. And to be honest with you, I feel like he's more relevant as a WWE superstar than just being a YouTuber. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, people watch Logan Paul as a YouTuber, but at this point, he's become such a WWE superstar where it's like it's kind of become part of his identity. And when I think one of the big things to me that I dislike so much about the wrestling fans who like deny Logan Paul, it's the fact that you like don't you want people to come in and embrace the business? Like, why are we trying to gatekeep it? And I
Yep.
think that's always been one of the things that have really disappointed me so much is like, he's not, to me, I don't even look at him as like a celebrity in WWE anymore.
No, I don't either. I
I
actually look at
don't.
him as a wrestler now. It's actually kind of funny. Like, even like, so he does like obviously the Impulsive show. And every time I watch that, I just think like, oh yeah, this is Logan Paul from the WWE doing Impulsive, right? I don't think about his old status that he once had. I don't think about his past. I know some people do. It's kind of hard not to. I understand. But I don't. I genuinely have separated the two.
It's not though, to be honest. It's not like I get it. I don't want to talk about the crypto thing because the crypto thing I don't really understand the whole situation
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I haven't actually seen anything really point to signs that Logan was just like,
Well,
I'm gonna scam
I
people.
think it's people obviously too that are just trying to be like, "Oh, look, gotcha."
Yeah, that's a possibility. Like if people want to bring up the Japan forest thing, like bro, that happened so long ago, and I'm not saying like he's right for it. I'm not defending him, but like, are you really gonna hold that over his head forever? I
Right.
don't
Are
know.
you
To me, it's like people are humans. Humans make mistakes. Now, if like not everything is apples to apples, but it's just there's other people that like morally have there's other people that get celebrated and they're morally just as bad or maybe even worse, you know what I mean? And
for
it's like
sure?
people have this like popularity thing, and that's the problem that I've had with society, where it's like if you're gonna sit here and be like the moral police of celebrities, then you got to be very consistent. And
Absolutely.
I think sometimes it is unequivocally unfair for certain individuals just based on certain things or certain circumstances. And I'm not sitting here to defend Logan Paul. You know, he's not an angel. I also don't idolize celebrities in the slightest. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, well, because of that thing that he did on YouTube a long time ago, I have to sit here and now talk shit about his wrestling skills. He's a great performer. He is a great in ring performer. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to sit here and like, I know it's not the popular thing, but I'm not going to sit here and try to hide that. Now, for example, like, people kind of have this expectation that, oh, well, you have a wrestling talk show, so you have to kind of say what's the popular thing. It's
Mhm.
not. And to me, you know, I do support the idea of Logan Paul being a WWE champion, a world heavyweight champion, because when he shows up to work, he shows up, you know? And I didn't think after wrestling, I didn't think after WrestleMania, like I didn't think Logan Paul would. I thought it was just like, oh, well, he's gonna go take a break again. No, he's constantly on TV. He's constantly doing things. Like this guy to me is a WWE superstar. He embraces it. He goes on his podcast, talks with people, embraces it. Even when his guests have nothing to do with wrestling, there's conversation about wrestling. So it's not like I don't know. To me, it's a little bit different than if Jake Paul were to come in. If Jake Paul were to come in, he's the name coming in short term, trying to make a quick buck, whatever. Logan I feel like he's actually embraced the WWE to the point where, like, you know, he took a loss. He takes a loss, right? To Jey Uso, for example, at Saturday night's main event. Not that big of a deal. And if he won, there's a bigger story in play,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know?
yeah, absolutely. And I just want to preface, I think the wrestling old head said it. He said, in the landscape of the face heel dynamic dying, Logan Paul is definitely keeping the heel alive. So I actually want to preface that real fast. That was actually a talking point that I had. Logan Paul, it again, I see numerous people, it's so like, oh, I love him, I hate him, right? And there's no in between, there's no like middle, right? I think Logan fits that bill of like, this guy gets so much heat. And isn't that what pro wrestling is about? Isn't that what we fell in love with pro wrestling for? Do you know what I mean? Like, isn't that where the passion comes from? It's wanting to boo or it's wanting to cheer. And Logan, we want to boo, and that's okay. You're allowed to. But
Yeah.
again, that's not to say whether he's good or bad. It's just that's what pro wrestling is. And he's embodied pro wrestling. He's taken it and really ran with it, dude. I mean, you have to think this guy only started a couple years ago, and we have to give credit where credit is due, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's doing things, we talk about his finisher and the way that looks. We talk about, the twist springboard moonsault that he did. Like,
Yeah.
the ricochet spot. Like there's so many things about Logan Paul that are just it's beautiful. It's enjoyable, it's fun TV, and then obviously bringing the boxing side into it too. He's knocking people out. Like that's his whole gimmick. That's fun. Like he's an asshole and it's fun to watch an asshole.
Yeah, I think it's in an era where so many heels are cool. Logan Paul knows how to embrace it, being the villain. And I don't know. It's like Ricochet's heel character. All right, let's have a little bit of fun on this live stream. Look at Ricochet's heel character. People think it's freaking cool, right? It's
Yeah.
like, oh, he's a heel and it's so cool and it's such a gimmick and it's so funny. The bald being slapped in the head, blah blah blah, right?
Yeah.
Look at Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman, cool. John Cena being a heel, still cool. Like at the end of the day, the concept of him being a heel is cool. There's things in pro wrestling that is ultimately cool. Logan Paul knows that deep down inside, him being a babyface will never work, and him being like a traditional or not a traditional, but like this new version of what heels are in wrestling, he knows he can't be cool. So what does Logan Paul do? He embraces it and he doubles down on it. And like that makes it fun for me to watch him because of the fact that he is literally in a situation where he is a traditional heel in all of the senses. And I want to throw up this chat that I saw because Kobe says, I don't mind if Logan becomes champ, but someone has to cash in on him on the same night. Bro, like this is those kinds of things where, like, I'm not saying Logan Paul should win at Saturday night's main event, but the concept of him having the World Heavyweight Championship and then being cashed in on would be crazy. Because then imagine like everybody, that pop that somebody gets for cashing in on Logan Paul, it would be crazy. Imagine if somebody tried cashing in on Logan Paul and Logan Paul had brass knucks and stopped the cash in. Now you would hate him even more. Now
And
you would be
that's the
watching
point.
this World Heavyweight Championship reign for somebody to take the belt off of him. And listen, I like Jey Uso. I just want to be very clear. I love Jey Uso. I'm very happy with him. I think he's performing incredibly well as a World Heavyweight Champion. But eventually that does have to come to an end. So again, I'm not saying Saturday night's main event make it happen, but at some point I want the belt around Logan Paul. And what I like so much about the Logan Paul situation is when somebody does take the belt off of him, that's an immediate viral, that's an immediate moment that's completely made. So that is something to definitely consider. Billy got his $5 super chat on his channel. He says, look at Theory versus Hayes. Theory stopped doing the move from the corner. I have no idea what this is in regards
So
to.
that's in regards to what we were talking about with Zoey Starks earlier.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yes. So he was actually, because his super chat previous to that was, how he wanted, Zoe to stop doing the springboard. And I think just to preface real fast, I just have to say this. With that being said, right? People are always going to have different ways of thinking, right? Because yes, maybe Theory did stop doing that move from the corner. And guess what? That is good, right? That's good. That just means he's learned his lesson and he's just learning from maybe past mistakes, right? Now, that's not to say that everybody learns at the exact same time frame. They're not all necessarily moving the exact same. So whether Zoe, whether she stops, whether she doesn't, again, that's all going to be on her. And I think that's where we'll kind of leave the Zoe Stark and that incident. We'll just kind of leave it there. People, they'll learn at their own pace. They'll choose to do things. At the end of the day, everybody's their own individual human. They're allowed to do as they please. And who are we to tell them at the end of the day?
Yeah.
But yeah, Cam, thank you so much for your super chat, bro. You've been awesome. Thank you, brother.
Shout out to Cam. Don't forget, guys, the super chat goal is active. If you guys want to get your comments, your questions, whatever it may be, you guys want to be part of the show, let's hear your takes. You guys agree, disagree, whatever it may be. Let's get that super chat goal hit today. That would be very awesome. Billy, one thing that I want to talk about last night on Raw, and I thought this was an interesting thing, but AJ Styles and Penta together. Something was cool about that, bro. Something was cool about that.
Yeah, man. It's so funny that you say that because there was something cool about that. I think it's my man Penta. He got some swagger to him, the way he walks, the way he talks. I don't know, man. There's just this swagger to him. And AJ Styles is obviously AJ Styles. People have been very advocating for AJ Styles to become heel. He's become a pretty big topic of discussion recently, right? Just throughout the IWC. So I think it's just fun seeing AJ Styles on the TV, especially against Finn Balor. Just going to be honest there. But No, man, I loved it. I love seeing those two team up. Penta is amazing. AJ is amazing. They were doing some really cool moves out of there. That double crossbody outside of the ring.
Yeah.
That was sick, dude. I love that. I just the energy that both of them brought was so fantastic. Um, dude, just overall a good match. And then obviously you have Carlito kind of helping. It was kind of weird though that Finn Balor won, and just my only problem with that, my only problem is like, aren't we supposed to be moving Finn away from the Judgment Day?
So
But
we
then
will.
obviously something happened later in the night.
So I have an exact plan of like I have an exact idea. I do want to get to that. So hold your thought because there
Yep.
was a super chat that kind of ties into that. I got a super chat from Adam78, $5 super chat. He says, "What makes Paul deserve world title? He defended the U.S. title 2 times in 6 months and has only performed on Raw or SmackDown 1 time in 3 years, in a 3-year career." So I think this is a great question. I think this is a very valid question. So I do want to address this. Logan Paul, what makes Logan Paul deserve a world title? Well, here's the thing. In professional wrestling, you can't go off of wins and losses in booking anymore. And the reason for this is because I think AEW was the perfect example. And I'm not trying to use this as a knock towards AEW because this is actually what made me love AEW. But AEW was very much in the world of wins and losses matter. We have a ranking system, right? And the
Yeah.
problem with that ranking system is AEW was incredibly flawed. Like, why was the number 5th contender getting a championship opportunity, but the number 1 or number 2 contender weren't seen on TV for a while? There was just too many flaws in how it worked. And eventually AEW was like, we can't do it. And then AEW even tried it again and immediately just was like, yo, we can't do this. Like, it just
Right.
doesn't work. In professional wrestling, it's always going to be about the person you want to push and whether that person would make a great champion. So, for example, like if Penta loses a singles match, that doesn't mean Penta shouldn't get an opportunity at the title. He should. He has to win. He has to do some things to get there. But it's like momentum based, right? So you might not have the momentum now, but you can have the momentum. Now, with Adam's comment, the reason why I said it's valid is because Logan Paul, thankfully, has been putting people over in recent months, in a sense. So, for example, we all saw AJ Styles and Logan Paul. Who benefited from that match?
Logan.
But I see AJ Styles on Raw every single week now doing stuff. Wins or losses, he's still very relevant to the stories.
Yeah, so both technically benefited at the end of the day.
Exactly. So if Logan wins or loses, just like if AJ Styles wins or loses, as long as the person's not off of TV and just tucked away forever, I don't think it matters, right? So
Yeah.
that's why I said I think it's valid what Adam is saying, but at the same time too, you can still lose a match and still be put over in a sense, as long as you're not being buried and put into obscurity. So one thing I will say to be argumentative, just for the sake of being argumentative, Logan Paul defending the U.S. title 2 times in 6 months. That's not Logan Paul's fault. That's WWE's fault. WWE, and by the way, I say this because look at Shinsuke Nakamura's U.S. title run, right? It wasn't just a Logan Paul thing. For a minute, the U.S. title just wasn't even given love. So
This is true.
it's different when you look at that Intercontinental Championship. Braun Breaker was holding it, defending it on Raw. Gunther was holding it, defending it on Raw. Like, we were seeing that in real time. You know, Dominik Mysterio, on the other hand, needs to start doing that, right? So I can't blame Logan Paul for that. What makes him deserve a world title? The fact that 1, he's a great performer. 2, he's culturally relevant in the mainstream. 3, if he were to become a world champion, yes, it's going to do great things from a business perspective, but it's also going to be the thing that helps elevate somebody else. Because let's just face it, if Jey Uso wasn't world champion right now, but he's this incredibly over, beating Jey Uso does nothing, right? But if Jey Uso's the world champion and he's incredibly over and a heel dethrones him, what does that do? It elevates the heel to the next level.
Right, exactly. And
So
that's
now
what
roles
they're doing.
reversed. Roles reversed. Logan Paul would being a heel world champion, defending it, losing it to a babyface. See how it changes the game for that babyface, right? That big moment, that big pop, that big, you know, that's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah. It's a good way to look at it.
Shout out to Adam. Definitely understand, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. Sammy Piboon coming through. He dropped $1.99. He says, "Will Roxanne Perez join the Judgment Day group?" And that's what I want to get to. So she has kind of joined the Judgment Day. No, this is what's going to be amazing about the storyline. It is very clear that Finn Balor brought in Roxanne without Liv's permission. Liv is going to have a power trip. Nobody's the leader. You can't make these decisions without the entire group. Blah 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 blah. We're getting to the split of the Judgment Day.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's just the bottom line. I think Roxanne Perez will not align with Liv. In fact, I think they'll feud.
Mm-hmm.
This is where things will actually start cooking with the Judgment Day, because I feel like
So
the
you
Judgment
think
Day
that this
sucks.
is where it's going to fall down? You think this is where it's all going to break?
Yes, 100%.
I actually 1000% agree. Yeah, I noticed that because obviously she came in there. Just
What?
My bad. I was just thinking about the chicken nugget situation.
Yeah.
And I've just seen so many TikToks of people being like, yo, if Dom pulls this off, he's the greatest pro wrestler of all time. Put a statue outside, get this man a monument.
I mean, did you see the way he was looking at Roxanne?
That's what I'm saying. What's this man trying to do? He's trying to be the greatest of all time. And I'm not talking about in wrestling. This guy, oh, dude, the way he looked at her sent me through the moon.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, it's so funny because I think that's going to be Finn Balor's way of getting getting at Dom, is using Roxanne or using her as a ploy.
Yes.
I think that's what it's going to be.
It's recycled.
It is.
Liv used Dom. Liv used Dom to get after Rhea, and now they're gonna use Roxanne to get after Liv.
I love it. I have to say it, dude. Dom is the greatest of all time. This man really is. This guy, yeah, I see it in the chat. Latino Heat. He is really that. In matter of fact, I think he's on more of a roll than Eddie was. That's a hot take when it came to this situation, not everything that he's accomplished. Just want to preface that.
I want to see them commit to Dom being a babyface, bro.
So do I. And I think, I don't think it'll necessarily be a babyface, though. I think it'll be continuing letting Dom do what he does, but against more of the heel type characters. So you don't change anything about Dom. You just reverse the roles, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I mean, it makes sense, but no. Go full throttle with him as a babyface.
See, I just feel like it'd be I think we can get behind it if he's like rooting the crowd on and stuff like that, getting them hype and stuff. But I think that would kind of take away from everything that Dom has done, if he came out there and did that. Yeah. I don't know if I could get behind it.
Yeah. I like this idea of them going through and moving and getting to the point where they break up.
Yeah, definitely need to get to that breakup.
And that's the ploy. Finn is using Roxanne, and it's going to cause, which is great because Liv Morgan feuding with Roxanne would be a great feud for Roxanne. I think one thing that a lot of people need to also acknowledge too is that like Roxanne is going to be in Money in the Bank. Maybe that's when Liv Morgan returns. Who knows? I don't know when they plan on doing that return, but Liv Morgan going after Roxanne and Money in the Bank, causing that. Like there's something in play for them to go about this the right way, in the sense, like what I'm trying to explain to people, in the sense that you want Roxanne to benefit without having to be in a world title feud. You want Liv Morgan to come back. Like, this is great. This could actually be the thing that turns Liv Morgan as a babyface, or maybe it turns Liv Morgan into the ultimate heel and Roxanne into the ultimate babyface. Like, there's something here that's in the works, and that's what I love about it. And it's, it's technically not official, but she's joined the Judgment Day, and that's going to be the issue where like Liv's going to be like, hey, you don't make these decisions without me. I go film a movie, I come back. But ultimately, we need Finn Balor to get away from all of this, and Dom also needs to go babyface.
It is time. It's time for a change here.
Yeah. Shout out to our good friend Sammy for the super chat. Billy got a super chat from Darren Buss. He says, "Heel turn Billy."
All right, so got to preface this. Ango, we need to talk.
Floor is yours, buddy.
So what Darren is speaking about is last night we did a watch along. Ango, as you all know, real life, real good friends, right? I was
Yeah,
talking. I said, man, Ango calls me every morning, real life, every single morning, hits me up. We get to talking before these live streams. I
yeah.
always answer. Never miss a call. It's very rare. I call Ango last night. Call him last night. Hey, man, trying to get your rating. The chat wants to know. The chat's pumped. They're fans of you, right? We got a big community. We got a big family over here. They
Yeah.
want to see what you thought. And Ango doesn't join me on these watch alongs yet. So they don't know. And they can't hear it until 12. And, I shoot him a call. Hey, man, start ringing the phone. Nothing. 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 No answer. So my chat, some of you guys get left in the dust. And what do I get? I send him a text. Said, what's your rating for the chat? Sends me simple 10. No exciting letter. So we talk about me turning heel? No. Ango's the heel. Ango's the bad guy here.
Yeah, you see what had happened was
Mm-hmm.
I honestly just don't answer my phone at night. It's very rare.
No shit. Learn that.
Yeah, it's very rare. Because I'm in bed watching Raw on Netflix and I'm chilling. And that's I swear I think that's like really the big thing. Um, but
But
that's funny. That's funny.
you know what? You did give it to us. We're gonna take it easy on you, although you are the bad guy in this situation.
No problem.
So they can go at you for that. Don't put the blame on me. Don't make me out to be the bad guy. He's the bad guy here. So we talk about a heel turn, Billy. I'm not a heel. I'm not a face. I'm just a human being. I got
Mm,
emotions.
okay.
You know.
Shout out to Darren.
Shout out there, bro. I appreciate the five,
Darren's
man.
super chat getting me in trouble. Thanks, bro.
Getting you
I
called
got
out.
I got the wrestling old head dropping a 10 banger. He says, "What are your thoughts on Cross being held off on TV despite a growing buzz? I am convinced Cross and Even Theory have someone in a high position in WWE that's not in favor of them. Cross off TV is wild." This is such a great thing because this is bothering me, but I'm having a feeling that this is being done on purpose. Um, I know maybe this is crazy, bad take. I don't know. I genuinely believe that Karrion Kross being put off TV at a time where the merch and everything is happening, I think this is going to lead to Karrion Kross literally taking over WWE Raw at some point, hijacking the show, pipe bomb type of thing. If that's what we get here, I would be extremely excited. I think WWE is trying to manufacture the reaction from the fans and the outrage. So
Mhm.
that way, when it happens, it becomes a big moment. Which, by the way, I don't know if somebody will disagree with me here. Billy, I'll let you guys you
Yeah.
respond.
Yeah.
But I genuinely believe if WWE manufactures that moment for Karrion Kross, it's the moment that truly propels him. Only for the simple fact that Karrion is so talented, people are starting to finally recognize it. But Adam Cole pretty much screwed him, and Vince McMahon screwed him. Those two moments have really annihilated him,
Mhm.
and he needs something massive to really take him to that next point. This would be it. Like literally, if he just comes in and hijacks the show, attacks people, chaos, attacks commentary, grabs the mic, they have to freaking cut off his mic. Like, bro, it would be the most amazing moment that just completely changes the game. And I'm genuinely just starting to get the feeling that's what's happening. And if not, WWE should hire me because I'll throw it into the script and make it happen because it would be explosive.
Yeah. So I'll just okay. All right. So we know how Angle feels about Karrion Kross. So I think again, like you said, WWE is manufacturing a reaction, right? So this is actually a good thing. This is the time where it's like warranted, right? This
Yeah.
is the time where you're allowed to voice your opinion because obviously Triple H isn't a big fan of the critics and he's not really fond of everything that we say online, but this is the time where he's going to utilize that and obviously we all want to see it. So continuously be loud, continuously try to make your voices heard, right?
Mhm.
And I think that is ultimately what is going to create this real Karrion Kross movement. I think that's what's going to over on my channel, we call it send him into that different stratosphere, right? I think that's where he's going to go. I think he's going to be altered into this different stratosphere, a different realm. I seen Phil in the chat. He talked about, him earning a spot in Money in the Bank. I think he's almost bigger than that, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I understand why people could, think that, utilize that in a way, but I 1000%. Sometimes I hate agreeing with you because you just are right on some things, but I have to say it. I do agree with you in the sense of Karrion Kross is going to be, he's going to be his own entity on Raw, and it's going to become bigger than maybe even the show itself in some regard, right? He's going to be the number one topic that people are talking about. So continuously make your voices heard. Obviously, that documentary that he did and then the promo and everything, I mean, it just got people talking. This guy has utilized social media and utilized the internet so well. So I'm rooting for
Well,
Karrion Kross.
and that's the thing, right? Like, we're in a situation where I think WWE obviously is high on the guy. They don't have him lurking around and
For
impacting
sure.
stories forever. I'm sorry. Like, I know in the super chat it says maybe, wrestling old head is convinced that someone in a high WWE position is not in favor of them. I don't believe that to be the case. I think Theory and Karrion Kross both have been just based on booking before and things that have happened before, they've just kind of been screwed over. And you have to kind of change the perception of them, and Austin Theory is in a whole different boat because right now he's got the whole thing with Grayson Waller. But when you look at Karrion Kross, he's a whole different breed, bro. We know how talented this guy is. Everybody knows what he's capable of. These videos and the way he's doing social media now, it's not anything new. It's just he's finally using it to his benefit while under the WWE umbrella. I would actually argue part of that stuff that he's done on social media and on the indies and TNA and Lucha Underground, like all those things that he's done in the past have kind of led him to why Triple H he became a Triple H guy.
For sure.
He's a beast, bro. And I will defend Karrion Kross. I actually met Karrion Kross and Scarlett at I want to say it was Starcast.
Oh, that's kind of dope. Did you?
Yeah, I want to say it was Starcast. It was one of those conventions, but I remember like just literally a brief conversation. I don't know. The guy is freaking cool. He's a very nice guy, and I always say people who are nice to me, like I will always,
The
it's
human
one
side
thing.
of everything really makes you root for somebody.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like I can't even remember the full context of everything, but it was at a convention and just talking and just like really nice dude. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Just like a very nice dude, like as if I was talking to one of my homies. It wasn't like, oh my God, bro, hey, I'm a YouTuber, you're this, that, blah, blah. Like, I don't even think we talked about wrestling, to be honest. But when you have those kind of human interactions with people, you even cheer them on further. When you like their work and then you see the person behind the character, you're like, hey, man, they're cool as fuck. Like, I support that. And so not only is his work quality great, but just from that, you know how they say sometimes don't meet your heroes because your heroes end up being a prick? Like this is the opposite. Like this was, hey, like you kind of won me over with that interaction. So
Yeah.
those kinds of interactions make you even cheer for them more. And then of course, like I said, I love his body of work. I watched
Yeah,
him as Killer
absolutely.
Cross. I think the way that they do this is crazy. If they manufacture a situation where he comes in and takes over the show, brother, it's over. It's donezo. He's going to literally become the next big thing in WWE. But I think they have to do that. If they don't do that, then fuck me. Like I don't know.
Yeah, dude, I'm very behind Karrion Kross.
Shout out to the wrestling old head. Billy got us another super chat from Right Hand Cam for $2. He says sick and tired of the Judgment Day. I
So
was.
yeah, I was gonna say, so was I.
Yeah.
Up until what they've been teasing.
Yeah.
What they've been teasing is very good. Obviously, it just is going to have the Judgment Day. It's going to be an implosion,
Yeah.
right? They're gonna break up. So if you are tired of the Judgment Day, know that it's coming to an end, right? It definitely is. So I guess if you are tired of the Judgment Day, this is a good way to look at it. It eventually is going to end, especially now. I think Roxanne is definitely the ploy there.
Well, yes, I agree.
Yeah.
One thing I was gonna say too, just as a great comment that I saw in the chat, Kobe had actually said, "Don't you think? Where was it? Don't you think Cross has to re-sign first?" So I think that was again, I think that was kind of the seed being planted for what I believe is being manufactured.
Yep.
Um, I think that was the moment where it was like, okay, we're gonna do that. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
Phil said in the chat, "Live Dom finished." Yeah, I think that's
Yeah, I think that's gonna Liv's gonna go on her own. I think Dom's gonna go on his own, and I think we're really going to start to see a breakout of Dom Mysterio. I think Dom Mysterio, whether he's a heel, whether he's a babyface, I think he'll be a babyface. But no matter what he does, I think you're going to start to see. I mean, this is going to sound crazy, but they literally have done what they did with Eddie, with Dominik, and it's actually super impressive because in this time and the era that we're now in, right? Obviously, wrestling is portrayed different, but it's so funny to see how not different it is,
yeah,
right? It's actually the same as it was. It's just you portray it a different way. You keep some of the things involved, but then you bring a more modern side to it. And I think that's exactly what they've done with Dominik. It's so impressive because now Dominik, if obviously you guys probably seen the merch that he had, the Dominik Mysterio merch that was kind of tied into what Eddie was doing with Eddie's merch, the Latino Heat merch. I there's so many signs that here soon, and this may be a hot take, I'm not sure, but here soon, I'd say maybe in the next year and a half, Dom Mysterio is going to 1000% be a world champion.
Well, here's the good news. I actually called that out on the when he debuted.
There
I
you
called
go.
that out. I called that out when he debuted. I'm gonna find that stream and I'm gonna post it. I'll bring it to the stream tomorrow or something because I actually remember me and you talking about it. And I was like, I don't know what it is about this kid, but under WWE's umbrella, he's gonna learn. And this is when Dom didn't have a mullet. He was still a
This is
little bit
when,
chubbier.
yeah, he
Like,
had the short hair.
yeah. I think it was so funny. I was like, oh, there's just something about this kid. I see it. He's gonna do good. And it's crazy because now in 2025, it's that conversation is actually more relevant mainstream because a lot of people actually forget how much hate Dominik Mysterio actually got in the beginning.
Dude, just
But
being Ray's son and everything
yeah,
that they said there. I mean, this guy, it's so
yeah,
funny. And you hear wrestlers talk about it. Like, it's not just us. Like, the people that are there with him talk about it, saying, like, oh, when you talk about like a breakout star and somebody who really understands the business and is there every single night of the week, really putting in the work, really putting in the grind, it's Dom Mysterio. He is the guy. He
yeah,
is, dude. I can't say he's going to be the next Eddie because there's no next Eddie. He's going to be the first Dominik Mysterio, and it's going to be in the same kind of fashion that it happened to Eddie. And that
yeah,
is so impressive to me, and I love it. I'm super behind that kid, dude. I can't explain it. I just am.
yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Guys, I'm 2 super chats away from hitting the super chat goal. If you guys want to help out, please feel free to drop a super chat. It would be greatly appreciated. We can hear your hot takes, your questions, your comments, whatever you want to add to the show. Feel free to drop a super chat. If we could hit the goal, that would be great. If not, that's life. It is what it is. I do want to take a look at the chat in the meantime because I see a lot of
Yeah.
people in here coming through and everybody's kind of really just everybody's kind of adding some stuff. um so one thing I thought that was interesting was Darren Buss actually said Dom is becoming more like Eddie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know you also said too, hey, it's he's not like another Eddie. He's kind of like his own thing, right? You don't, which I understand. I get that. Like I think I love the comparisons to Eddie. Eddie to me is always going to be one of my favorites I've watched.
Eddie is one
Uh
of a kind. We have
yeah.
to preface that. He really is. He's standalone. There's just so many comparisons and they're hard to miss.
Yeah, so but it's cool that the comparisons are there, but it's cool that Dom has found a way, despite being compared obviously to his father and to his uncle, like this kid has found a way to kind of just become his own version of that, like his own way of things. And I like that. Um and I like that. I like the fact that Dom has really figured it out. It's a difficult task, to be honest, you know?
It is, man.
It's a really difficult task. And I think when you see that, it's nice to watch that this kid, okay, like good in ring, but he's very polished as a character. He's He's still so young, which is awesome.
Yeah.
This was a kid who bypassed NXT and figured it out on the road, which I think so many people have mentioned in the past. Like AJ Styles had mentioned it before. I wish I went to NXT because WWE is so different.
Hmm.
Dom really, he didn't do indies. Like this was a kid who figured it out on his own on the road with WWE, and I just think it's a fascinating thing to see. I think he's going to be a really, really good world champion one day. And
Hmm.
what's cool about Dom is we saw that glimpse at WrestleMania where he's such a great heel and such a great performer, but the minute that he won, it was like you have that respect for him because you saw the way he came in, you saw the
Hmm.
the journey, and
And the
that's huge.
criticism. The criticism is really what makes this exciting to me. It's all the heat that he got. It's everything that they said about him. Like again, we talk about all the comparisons that he had coming in. I mean, you kind of see it with a lot of these stars. Randy Orton was another person who really got it bad coming into the business.
Yep, yep,
They get a lot of flack, and I not only do they get it from just the outside world, but they also even get it in the backstage world, right?
yeah,
And I think that to me is what makes this journey so cool is that this kid, I mean, he was always supposed to just be Ray's son. And you could say that WWE maybe paved a way and helped him. Yes, I think that's obviously always going to be WWE's goal,
yeah,
right? Is to help push things forward. But it was really on Dominik to take that and run with it.
yeah,
I kind of compare it to just because I've watched the documentary so many times. It's John Cena's ruthless aggression gimmick.
yep,
That was a complete failure. And then like one day, he's on the bus and he's rapping, and then he was like, nobody could have told me how to rap. That was just something that I knew how to do.
yeah,
Nobody could have drew that up on a whiteboard and said, hey, yeah, we're gonna have him do this. It just worked. And Dom, short hair, out there with the spandex flying around with his dad. That was a failure. That did not
yeah,
work. This works.
yeah. I agree. I
Yeah.
definitely agree.
Yeah,
You know, it was a good day for WWE.
for sure. I would agree.
It's I feel like tonight's NXT is going to be really exciting as well. We got Joe Hendry and Trick Williams.
And we also have that triple threat match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we
That
got Dynamite Wednesday, which who cares? Thursday we got TNA Impact.
Yep. And
Then we got Friday
SmackDown.
Night SmackDown. Saturday we got Saturday night's main event. Sunday we got Battleground and Double or Nothing, which I'm super excited
I should put
about.
I should put a poll up and see which one people want me to stream. I should probably do that. I'm just thinking out loud.
Thinking out loud. I might have a quarter milli on me right
Right
now.
now. Yeah.
What's the rest of the lyrics? I forgot.
I don't know. But
Holly
yeah.
Berry, hallelujah. Yeet.
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 Why'd you do the yeet?
Yeet. I don't know. I'll just add it to everything. Yeet.
Oh, for sure. Yeet. 4 letters. 1 word. Yeet.
Yeet. All right. Here's the deal.
What in the world just happened? That man, whoa. Did he? Oh, dude, where'd you go? He was yeeting too tough. His
Hello.
yeet was there. He is. Hey, what's up, man?
Sorry, buddy. I was just yeeting and I like hit my stuff, and then I
Yeah,
clicked.
dude. I was about to say you was yeeting as good as Jay was. Damn.
Yeah. So, what's gonna actually end up? What I was trying to say. It's okay, guys. We didn't hit the super chat goal today, but it's okay because there's always tomorrow. But tomorrow I think we are going to do. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Can they hear me though? As a baby face, or maybe it turns lip.
Yeeting as good as Jay was. Damn.
Yeah. So okay. So yes,
Yeah,
I just
yeah. It was delayed. It's delayed.
yeah, I was
on
just
your end.
checking. Yes, I was just checking that. Cool. What was I saying? Wow, I really got off. My equilibrium is now turned upside down. Okay, I don't know why I'm so hyper now. I think tomorrow we're going to test the vertical stream on YouTube.
Let's do it.
I think that's what we're gonna do. I don't know. I'm not sure for fact. But it was a good stream today. It was fun, you know, it was very fun, and I appreciate everybody being here and joining us and watching us,
As
um,
always.
and subscribing and clicking like and all that good stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I think we'll just kind of leave it at that. And if you guys want more streams, it would be really dope if you guys came through and showed love because the only way we keep it going is if you guys are interested in it, right? So if you guys are coming in and you guys are showing love and you guys love what we do and you guys love this stuff, then we keep it going. If you don't like it, then I don't know, maybe I just stop doing it, right? So shout out to everybody showing love because of you guys. I really enjoyed doing the live stream. We'll be back tomorrow. Check out Billy tonight doing an NXT watch along. We'll figure out what's going on for the weekend too. It's Memorial Day weekend. A lot of good things coming up.
Absolutely.
Yada yada yada. Yeet. Okay.
Yeet.
Yeet. And is there anything else?
No, man, I don't think I got it. Oh, guys,
What, guys?
hold on.
Let's hear it, Billy.
Definitely don't forget to become a member because you guys are getting awesome perks when you guys become a member of Ango's channel.
I can't wait to. So I can't even wait to see what my text messages look like after this. If you guys aren't a member, become a member. Check the members post. You have my phone number right there. You could text me. Oh my god, that's gonna be crazy.
I'm so pumped to see.
Me too. All right, guys, that's it. BillyTKO, Ango PW. You already know the drill. We'll see you guys next time.